Hello everyone, this is the finale of What If Naruto Was Abused and Abandons Konoha to Train, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Hinata was troubled. After Naruto had read the letter, he had simply vanished. He had angrily stomped out of the house, and before either Hinamori or Hinata could grab him, he had jumped onto an apartment building and hurtled off straight for the woods. Naruto sat on top of a large rock, in a less vegetated part of the forest. He began to concentrate his chakra while beside him a river rushed swiftly. Damn you, fox, I'll find this memory with your help or not. Naruto grumbled, angrily. Focusing his chakra into his brain, he began to destroy the genjutsu protecting the memory. Naruto could feel the genjutsu slowly breaking, and gradually parts of the memory began to come back. Naruto suddenly stopped. This feeling, no, instinct told him not to go on. He paused. I'm too far along to quit now, he decided. Forcing more chakra in, he shattered the genjutsu, and with the genjutsu broken, the memory flooded back. Naruto clenched his fist, his head bent, his eyes closed. He couldn't take it, the tears just began to stream down his face. Why? Flashback. Naruto high-fived Akito. His team had just received their first C-rank mission, and Naruto was psyched. Or rather, that's how it should have been. MIA had run away from the village, and it was his team's job to get her back. Naruto's team all had the same stoic expression. MIA had befriended Akito and Mimiko through Naruto, and they all felt it was their duty to bring her back. They all remembered the days they had spent together before the final exam. Studying together and playing ninja. Naruto looked at his sensei. Naruto knew he was lucky Kinyo was one of the few Junin in the village who didn't hate MIA. The Junin quickly sped off, not waiting for the genin to catch up. Kinyo had been a member of Cloud Country's Special Ops for 5 years before he had chosen to stop and become teacher. He was speeding while a dark blue sash flew behind him. Naruto was not far behind, his resolve powering his muscles and letting him forget the weariness. His teammates were not that far behind either. Mimiko was a taijutsu user mainly, so she was not far behind Naruto, her crimson outfit as out of place as Naruto's orange jacket. She was a tougher, as Naruto called her. She had a knowing confidence and always knew how to tick Akito off. Unlike the rest of the group, Akito struggled in taijutsu. It was his weakest attribute, and the black cape that flailed behind him was certainly not speeding him up. He was a real comedian, always trying to cheer everyone up, and he and Naruto were always hanging out. Both guys thought of the other, their brother. The two never fought and were always there to back each other up. Naruto patiently waited for the attack, thinking of when he had Akito would play pranks on the bullies at school. The one time where Akito had used a genjutsu, so to everyone else the bully looked like a girl with a pink dress and makeup to boot. He sighed. There had been a lot of good times. He recalled sparring with Mimiko just a few weeks before while Hinamori was trying to pick up on Mimiko's technique, and Akito told jokes to MIA, who to everyone's pleasure laughed once in a while. The 5 of them did everything together. It was nice. Naruto thought, I am lucky to have such great friends who would back me up in a fight or hang out with me when Ryoku was gone. His mind gradually revealed another memory where Naruto was defending MIA from some bullies, and Akito came and put them in a genjutsu, so for 3 hours they beat a large rock until their hands bled, thinking it was MIA. Naruto smiled innocently. But they would still be my friends even if they knew I was a demon, right? He shook his head. Why would I even think that? Whatever, forget it, concentrate on the mission. He nodded to himself. Now where would MIA be? His eyes wandered over the landscape like an artist over another's piece of work, searching for something that shouldn't be there. Naruto's eyes, a moment before alert and studious, were now widened in shock. Kinyo was tense. No doubt he had already sensed MIA. His sensei had begun to move, only to stop his hand grasping a kunai. But why hadn't he said anything? Naruto wondered. The answer appeared before his eyes as his teacher began to slow his pace. Sensei, Naruto asked, confused, are you okay? Akito realized first what was happening. Naruto, Mimiko, watch out. Sensei's going down. Sure enough, Kinyo was falling. Jumping ahead of him, Naruto waited until his sensei fell into his arms. As he lay Kinyo down, it was evident what was going on. They had been ambushed and Kinyo was the poison quickly taking effect. Akito bent down and began to tend to the injury, removing the poison-tipped senbon needles from his sensei's C and N. Naruto sent a questioning glance toward his male teammate who nodded in answer. The blonde-haired shinobi dashed into the underbrush where the senbon needles had flown. As Naruto left view from his friends, he saw MIA. MIA, what's going on? Naruto yelling in his frustration. I'm sorry Naruto, but it's for the best, MIA said the words reluctantly. What's for the best? Why would you run away from your friends? Naruto's roared, his anger beginning to overpower his confusion. Then abruptly he seemed to lose energy. Don't I mean anything to you? Mimiko screamed. Naruto whipped his head around before shunshing back to his team. His friends seemed frozen. Mimiko held a kunai in her hands, but she was not moving. In fact, she looked as though she couldn't move. Naruto faltered. Was this a trap? Ignoring the thought, he ran over and grabbed Momiko's arm and pulled her towards him. She moved slightly. Naruto, she whispered, run. Laying her down, he removed the kunai from her hands and stood up. Hello Uzumaki, Naruto, hissed a voice from behind him. Naruto turned, his head bent down while his eyes glared up at the intruder. Who the hell are you, and what did you do to my team? Very well Naruto, I suppose it's time for me to introduce myself. I am Orochimaru of the Sound and I wish to invite you to come with me back to my home. If you choose to come, you will gain immense power. The kind of power you see the strongest ninjas in the world try to attain, but they never achieve. Naruto looked at this man, if it was a man at all, and growled. Why would I trust you when my teammates lie injured all around me? Well, you wouldn't want them to now, would you? Orochimaru laughed at the boy's foolishness. I won't let you hurt them. Naruto, you don't have a choice. I am one of the strongest ninja in the world, easily capable of KO you all without even trying. Are you really willing to let your teammates Orochimaru questioned. He was toying with the boy. Naruto looked ready to attack. His fist was clenched so hard it looked as though it was about to tear itself apart. Then, as a leaf changes direction when a new gust blows through, Naruto dropped his fist. This was not a battle he could win. His face warped, too many emotions were fighting for control of his expression. So you won't even fight me? Are you scared? Is that your reason? His voice carried no trace of anger or frustration, but the tone of a child who was asking a question he already knew the answer to but still wanted the answer. I don't wish to fight because there would be no point. What would hurting a soon-to-be apprentice of me do? His voice overflowed with confidence. Then Naruto heard something move behind him. It was Akito, who had propped himself up on one knee. His bottom lip was torn in two where he had bitten it. Don't go Naruto. This guy Naruto's eyes began to convulse as Akito fell back on top of Kinyo. Orochimaru frowned. Foolish boy, I guess he didn't want to live. Naruto began to tremble. What did I just see? How can I go with this monster? But and he, for what? Naruto could no longer think. He heard everything and saw Orochimaru's frustration began to build, but he couldn't understand. Why do you want me? Naruto screamed as realization swept over him, tears forming in his eyes. I didn't want this, so why? Why me? Orochimaru's answer was calm and cool, an almost mocking tone that a teacher gives to a silly question from a confused student. Isn't it obvious, Naruto, for you are the QB? Naruto shuddered. Not this, not again. He discreetly glanced at Mimiko, her eyes wide in shock. It was something he had never told anyone. Of course Mimiko would never guess he had a demon in him. He had never had breakdowns like MIA, or gone into deep depressions, or ran away. He grimaced at the thought. His anger beginning to rise again. This was unacceptable. Who was this guy to come and take everything that was dear to him? To expose his secrets, to lie and aim where it hurt worst. F you. Naruto roared, I won't lose anyone. His head raised, his eyes, the same eyes a second before had been filled with hopeless self-pity, were now overflowing with anger and hate and a terrifying lust. Naruto raised his arm and pointed at Orochimaru's face. Though the man was hiding his emotions very well, it wasn't enough to stop Naruto's keen animalistic senses to pick up the growing more anxious and much more excited. Today US, Orochimaru. Naruto sped toward him, his arms waving behind him. Naruto weaved right before Orochimaru, juking to his left before juking back to bring his claw-like fingernails towards the Sanin's face. Orochimaru bobbed his head back, dodging the attack. A look of surprise emerged on his face. The Kyuubi boy is faster than I could have imagined, no matter, it just makes the prize more desirable. Naruto brought his other hand across Orochimaru's sea, grazing the loose shirt he was wearing. Orochimaru jumped back to a safe distance, where he then began to form seals. Naruto's animal instincts had halted his human side. He did not hesitate, instead he raced straight towards the monster he was fighting. Futon, Daitopper. Wind release, great breakthrough, Orochimaru hissed. A powerful wind blew towards Naruto, leveling all the trees around him. But Naruto only threw himself into the gale, see through it. Orochimaru frowned. How about this? Orochimaru s his hand into the ground, Kuchio's no jutsu, summoning technique. 3 huge snakes appeared surrounding Naruto. Naruto, we can still solve this without the loss of UB. I'm not listening to you anymore. Roared a demonic Naruto, his 2 chakra tails flowing behind him, dashed toward the first snake and sent his fist through its head. Turning to the other snakes, it was obvious to Orochimaru that Naruto was no longer in control. Twirling a kunai each hand, he began creating patterns too fast to make out. Then in an instant he was lost from sight, only to reappear the snakes that had loomed overhead, falling hundreds of gashes, leaving their B disfigured and M. Orochimaru felt a twinge of remorse. Why did I bother summoning them? Orochimaru pondered. Shrugging, he chuckled. Well, demon, I can deny you no longer, let's begin. In a blur, Orochimaru began to move. The Kyuubi in turn moved his speed. Mimiko was finally beginning to recover. She tried to stand only to fall. This mess. Who had caused it, Naruto or that man? Akito's? God damn it. Akito's death. Her confused thoughts forming doubts and subjecting herself to the pain of failure. No, she mumbled. I have to stop. I have to trust Akito's judgment and trust Naruto. Why do I doubt my friends? She turned to see the blurs that were clashing, her blonde teammate dancing with the devil. She had to go get help. Turning to speed back to the hospital and get some medics, she glanced behind her. Naruto'll be back, just don't okay. With the final thought, she dashed into the woods, heading back to the village. MIA was stunned. Why had it turned out this way? A friend of mine is my best friend, fighting for his life, a demon as well. This wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't want this. Orochimaru noticed that the girl he had paralyzed before was gone. This is not good. Naruto is fun to play around with, but if he was assisted by Junin, I wouldn't have a choice but to K him, and he could prove a nice test in the future. It appears I should leave. He debated internally. Final go, but that girl, she spoiled the fun, Well, Naruto, Orochimaru hissed. It's been a pleasure, but I must say goodbye for now. Naruto growled in both frustration and submission. The Kyuubi side of him had just left with the hit Orochimaru had given him moments before. He fell back, he had C along his back, he was poisoned, but the Kyuubi would take care of that. In fact, his worst injury was probably the embarrassment that he could not have landed a hit. He bolted upright. He felt wobbly, but he ignored the feeling he had forgotten his friends. What type of S am I, if I forget my friends, even if it's only for a second? He felt ready to collapse in sheer hatred, but the feeling was lost. He had more important things to take care of. He stumbled the 100 feet to where Akito and his sensei lay. He bent over and listened for breathing. He muttered a prayer as he felt Kinyo pulse. He was breathing barely, but his pulse was stable. Akito had worked his magic, but for what price, Naruto wondered. Akito was going back, a fallen hero who had saved a life. Naruto's stoic face was beginning to weaken. Naruto grasped his fallen comrade's hand. Akito, I swear, one day I will avenge you. Then, with the last ounce of his strength gone, Naruto felt tears streaming down his face. Goodbye, my friend, the blonde whispered. Goodbye, my brother. Naruto sat in a daze, thinking at the present was impossible, so he waited. It was 10 minutes later when a special ops unit appeared in a cloud of smoke. Naruto Uzumaki? He asked, his voice not portraying any sign of emotion. Yes, Naruto said passively. I regret to inform you your teammate Toya, Mimiko, has just been reported I'm sorry to bring you the news. Remember her as she was. That is all. The man turned to leave. Naruto could not feel anything. Am I not a human? What is wrong with me? I should at least feel sad. Why does this not hurt? He asked himself curiously. Wait, how did she s? The man did not turn around. Poison, apparently an unusual kind of venom which has to be removed since there is no anti-venom for. Unfortunately for your friend, all the medic able enough to perform the task were on mission. Good day. With those two final words, the shinobi disappeared the way he had came. Naruto awoke from the memory. He reacted as no one should have. He forced a smile covering the despair he felt and used Shunshin to head back to Ryoku's house as fast as he could. He found Ryoku standing on the roof as if expecting Naruto. Naruto ignored him and walked past him. Naruto, wait, Ryoku pleaded, grabbing Naruto's hand. I know it wasn't your fault. You don't have to take the burden alone. Naruto pulled his hand away. Why is Sensei doing this to me? Why is he forcing me to think about it already? I need some time to forget. Your things are in the trunk beside your bed, Ryoku stated as if the scene before had never happened. Naruto headed to his room and lay on his bed. He fell asleep. The catharsis he had gone through had completely drained him. It was 2 days before the blonde went outside again. Hinata and Hinamori had both come a couple's times to check up on him, but Ryoku turned him away, saying Naruto would sort it out. Nobody blamed him, besides himself, but that was not the point. He wanted to leave the event in the past. It was on the 3rd day of his self-imprisonment he realized the real reason for his guilt. It was the Special Ops shinobi's words that led him to his realization. Never forget them. The words echoed through his mind like an ever-present drum beat. It was more the guilt of wanting to forget than the feeling of weakness. Turning to the left, Naruto was facing the white wall opposite the doorway where between the wall and his bed sat a trunk. He lifted it, trying to get an idea of what would be in it before he opened it. The trunk was very light, forcing to throw all of the guest he had away. Tentatively he put his hand on the key that was already in the lock of the brown rectangular trunk. It opened wide, and to Naruto's astonishment the trunk was halfway full of things of Mimiko's and Akito's. He let out a cry of distress. He closed the trunk abruptly. Not yet, it was too soon. His thoughts screamed to him. He grabbed his head, trying to stop the painful guilt-produced headache he was feeling. No, I will not forget them. I will grow stronger so I can protect everyone. He picked up the black cape of Akito's and the red sash of Mimiko's, casting aside his orange clothes. He donned the clothes of his friends. My friends, Naruto said, looking out the window to the sky. I will let the world feel your presence. Naruto walked out of his room. His new attire and stoic expression gave him an entirely new appearance, as well as a new aura, a more powerful one that merged his two deceased friends with Naruto's own. Naruto headed downstairs, not expecting Hinata and Hinamori to be waiting for him. Hey, Naruto said, walking by the two girls to get some instant ramen out of the cupboard. The two say the girls were shocked would be an understatement. Naruto, Hinamori questioned. Naruto replied while heating his breakfast. What happened to your clothes? Her real question left unasked. I got rid of them. Naruto, Hinata began before being interrupted by Ryoku walking into the kitchen. Well, look who's alive. The Junin laughed. Naruto moved to smile but stopped. Sensei, I need a favor. Ryoku turned, a forced smile plastered on his face, sensing what Naruto was about to ask for. Naruto, I don't believe that is the proper question at the present, but I will be happy to answer that question later. Naruto hesitated before nodding. Ryoku sighed. It seems Naruto is still adjusting to the shock. In a few days he'll be alright, but until then I should keep an eye on him. He's bottling emotions that at his age should have wrecked him for months, maybe even years. In the meantime, Naruto, enjoy your time with the girls, who seem all too eager to have you by their sides. He laughed at the girls, who blushed furiously, while winking at Naruto, who almost choked on his breakfast. Using a simple shunshin, Ryoku was gone. Naruto sighed, a look of weariness stained on his brow. Hey, Naruto, we were wondering if you wanted to take a walk with us. Hinamori asked, still blushing. Naruto pushed a smile onto his face and nodded. Sure, that would be nice. Finishing his bowl, he stood up. Let's go. The first half of the walk was quiet, with the girls too shy to ask anything and Naruto not helping the situation. It wasn't until Hinata suggested they visit the rest of the group that talking began to accompany the walk. Naruto, perhaps we could meet up again before the Chunin exams, Hinamori stated. You bet, Naruto said, grinning, beginning to ease back into his usual self. Not surprisingly, the comment eased the girl's tension. Oh, by the way, Hinata, when do we leave for? Where are we going next? Naruto asked. We head to the village hidden in the sound next, Naruto-kun, and we leave tomorrow. Naruto turned to see if she was serious. Of course she was, but that didn't stop him from asking. The group remained quiet for a few more minutes until they got the academy building. Naruto and Hinata began to walk into the school while Hinamori sighed. You're not coming? Naruto asked. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, but I have to go train with me team now. I've taken too much time off, so goodbye. She said and turned to run off. But as she turned, she felt a hand grab her arm. She turned to see Naruto pulling her into his embrace. Her head pulled next to his. Please, Hina-chan, don't leave me as well. Naruto whispered, desperation pouring out of his voice. I would never, Naruto-kun, Hinamori replied, blushing before hugging Naruto back. After another 5 seconds, Naruto let go. See you later, Hina-chan. Bye, was all the red-faced girl could say. Maybe, just maybe, Naruto has feelings for me as well. With their farewells ended, both individuals turned and went their separate ways. Naruto and Hinata, who was now blushing after watching the two, walked into the academy. Spotting no one, Naruto turned to Hinata. Hinata-chan, could you use your Byakugan to find the others? It would save us a hassle. He asked, rubbing the back of his head, nervous about asking for anything even though he had already given so much. Of course, Naruto-kun, she replied, focusing her chakra to her eyes and performing the necessary seals. So do you see anyone, Hinata-chan? No, but I do see Kuro-san, her voice slow but confident. Well, that's okay, we can ask him to tell us where they went, right? Hinata nodded, leading the way to Kuro, her Byakugan still on. When Kuro first saw them, his mouth fell agape. What the hell, Naruto? First you have to go be a better fighter and now you go, and become more stylish than me. Jerk. Kyo laughed. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, laughing back. Well, I don't know, you are very stylish. Naruto said in a mocking tone. Anyway, do you know where our team is? Oh yeah, they told me to tell you. They had gotten the list of genin participating in the exam, so they have gone to train in the training ground behind the Raikage's tower. So you can head over there whenever you get back. Kuro said, nodding to himself as if approving what he had said. Great, thanks Kuro. I don't know when we'll see each other again, but my gut tells me it won't be long. Naruto said, already walking away, pulling Hinata along with him. Kuro chuckled as he watched the two leave. They're going to pass the exam without too much trouble, would be my guess. Kuro said to the unknown figure he had just sensed hiding in the shadows of the room. Impressive, my chakra signature hidden completely too. Well, I guess I was meant to be found out eventually, Tsutomi stated. Who are you? Kuro asked, getting ready in case he was an enemy. A friend and Naruto-sensei. Don't worry, I'm only following him to track his progress. Tsutomi reacted, chuckling. Kuro nodded, accepting the answer. But I want to know something, why don't you just tell him you're monitoring his progress? Pretty inquisitive, aren't you? Fine. Naruto is the type of individual that will try too hard if he knows he is being evaluated, so I'm going to watch him develop from his experiences rather than him forcing himself. Yeah, that's Naruto for you, Kuro grinned. Well, I have to go, good luck with your evaluation. Tsutomi smiled, disappearing. Naruto and Hinata sure enough met the rest of the group, who were training mercilessly. Lee and Neji were in the middle of a sparring battle and Neji seemed to be winning. Shikamaru was actually training for once and focusing on dodging Tenten's weapons. But as soon as Naruto walked in, the situation turned chaotic. Lee and Neji stopped for a moment to greet Naruto while Shikamaru fell back, thinking that Tenten would stop as well. Unfortunately, Tenten did not stop and unleashed a hail of weapons which, due to her new distraction, Naruto and Hinata sent the weapons flying randomly and a kunai skimmed Lee's arm. Naruto pushed Hinata out of the way of an oncoming shuriken and yelled, his hands into the ground, Doten, Doroku Geishi, Earth Release, Earth Shore Return. The large wall of earth blocked the remaining weapons, protecting the group with the exception of Shikamaru, who had ducked behind a tree. Damn. Troublesome, women, Shikamaru declared in an annoyed tone. I'm so sorry guys, Tenten exclaimed apologetically. I just got caught up in hitting that guy, pointing towards Shikamaru, who was looking at the clouds. Naruto exhaled in relief. Anyway, Naruto, what's with the new outfit? I mean, I didn't think it would look so good on you, Tenten asked, blushing. Yes, my youthful friend, what happened to your orange clothes? Are you trying to be hip and cool like Neji? Lee questioned, coming to Tenten's rescue. A sad expression appeared on Naruto's face. Hinata realized that it was too soon for him to have to explain everything. I don't think that it's all that important. Maybe we should go back to training, Hinata said. Neji shrugged. Let's go, Lee, he said, deciding to help Hinata due to the fact he was not quite as oblivious as the other two on his team. Tenten-san, maybe, if you want you could help me with Juken, Hinata asked. Of course, Hinata, Tenten responded, grabbing Hinata and walking off. Good to have you back, said a voice from behind Naruto. He turned to see Kurenai smiling. Hey sensei, Naruto replied. Why don't I help you with some genjutsu practice? She said. That would be great. 2 hours later, the whole group was taking a break except for Naruto and Lee, who had finished training with Neji and Kurenai and were sparing using only taijutsu. Needless to say, Lee was winning. Naruto was doing his best to dodge the speed of Lee's punches and kicks, but he was taking a hit every 3 or 4 blows. Finally, Naruto found an opening, blocking Lee's right leg with his left arm and punching him square in the jaw. Very good, Naruto, but I'm afraid that will be the last blow you deal to me. We'll see, Naruto retorted. Unfortunately, Lee was right, and a few minutes later Naruto was forced to give up. Naruto grunted in annoyance at Lee's victory cry. He had retaken the pill the day Ryoku had healed him, so he was back to where he had begun the first time he had taken the pill. Just as the group got up to make some early dinner, Guy returned. Hello, my youthful team, Guy shouted. Guy sensei, Lee screamed back in joy. Lee, Guy sensei, Lee, boom. Kurenai was standing angrily over Guy, her fist in the place Guy's head had been a moment before. That's not how a Junin should act. Tenten looked in admiration at the female Junin, her eyes twinkling in the joy that finally someone had taken care of her idiot sensei. Guy bounced back up as if nothing had happened and cleared his tea. Kurenai, after I delivered Haku to the Hokage, I was told to be extremely careful in getting the participants from the sound. Lord Hokage told me to bring the most able students with me and leave you with the rest to wait for us or rescue us if we are ambushed. Kurenai nodded. That's a wise decision. Who will you be bringing with you? I politely request to bring Naruto and Shikamaru with me and Neji on this mission. Shikamaru groaned. Extra work, what a drag. Naruto shouted in joy. Finally, I'm gonna kick everyone's in that village. Neji looked impassively at Guy before shrugging. Lee was the only one who looked hurt. Why aren't I going, Guy sensei? I'm sorry, Lee, but a 4-man squad is as much as can go before we cannot proceed discreetly. But don't worry, you are in charge of protecting the women, make sure nothing happens to them. Lee saluted smartly. Yes, Guy sensei. Now, Naruto, I have something to teach you, Guy said, turning to the group. Where is Naruto? Guy asked, his eyes scanning over the group. And who is the new guy? Guy asked, pointing to Naruto. Everyone in the group groaned. It's me, sensei, I just have different clothes on, Naruto said. Oh dear, that's a wonderful disguise, Naruto. Now follow me. The two flew into the wood, the black-caped Naruto following the completely green Guy. What did you want to tell me, Guy sensei? I've already spoken with your guardian and gained permission to teach you this technique. Guy paused before continuing. This technique will make up for the training pill you take. How did you know I took the pill? Naruto asked suspiciously. Well, the fact is, Naruto, when I visited Ryoku-san, he gave me all the useful information he could on you. This technique allows you to release chakra pathway, giving you incredible power. Tonight I will teach you how to open the 8 gates of your body. Naruto nodded. Let's begin by naming the different pathways. 1. Kaimanda, gate of opening, or initial gate, releases the brain's limit on the total strain on the muscles, giving the user 5 times their normal strength and speed. Kuman, gate of rest, or heal gate, releases the brain's limit on the body's stamina, making a battle-worn person become miraculously ready to fight as if the fight had just started. Simon, gate of life, or birth gate, is located on the spinal cord, and releases the limit on the nervous system, which makes information travel at a faster rate and creates even more stamina. As a side effect, the user's skin turns red, indicating an increased B oxygen level. Shaman, gate of pain, or harm, wound gate, releases the limit on oxygen intake in the lungs, creating much more oxygen for the body to use. Tomon, gate of closing, or limit gate, releases the limit on the amount of chakra released at one time. Kaiman, gate of joy, or view gate, removes the limit on how much fat and proteins the intestines can digest, and releases otherwise useless energy resources, giving the user even more power and stamina. Kyoman, gate of shock, or wonder gate, removes the limit on how fast the body can move, removes wastes from skin cells to feces, and gives the body a much cleaner system to work with, producing even more power and stamina. Shamon, gate of death, or death gate, opens the final gate located at the heart and uses up all of the body's energy. It makes the heart pump at maximum power and exceeds the power of every other gate. All the energy in every individual cell is used up, giving the user power well above that of any cage. This Big Bang effect is only temporary, and destroys every muscle in the user's body, including the heart. Death is assured when opening this gate. Do you understand these gates, Naruto? Well, yes, but how do you use them? The blonde asked in wonder. The way to find the way to release each gate is to first learn exactly where the chakra points are. The most efficient way to this is to test each chakra point since you already have an idea where they are. Sure, I can do this no problem, but why do I need to learn this? Naruto questioned. Guy was quiet for a few moments. Naruto, the truth is that the next few villages that we'll enter aren't on particularly friendly terms, and if we're going to make it through all of them, we're going to have everyone at full strength. So Kurenai and I taking each one of you and working with them on skills they should be able to use. Naruto nodded, finally understanding why he was teaching him the specific technique. You're teaching this to me because it's the only one the two of you know that I'd be able to learn quickly and use effectively. Guy grasped Naruto's shoulder and squeezed gently. You're very youthful, Naruto. May that trait of yours never leave you. Naruto nodded and began testing different chakra points, when it occurred to him. I spent all that time with Tsutomi working on chakra chains. I could probably use the chains to figure out which points to open. Grinning, Naruto began to focus his chakra. Naruto, I really hope you figure this out. If you can, it will make the rest of our trip a lot less stressful. Guy's thoughts repeating themselves over and over. Naruto's smile was, to the onlooker, a mix of sadistic pleasure with a blinding sense of the knowledge of brilliance. He had sand scrapes all over his body from training. He had mastered the technique in just one day, a feat not only remarkable but unheard of. Guy looked at Naruto, bathing in his success with a reluctant pride. Naruto had sustained a few minor wounds from testing the physical ability that came with his newfound power. Guy wasn't sure how much he should enjoy the sight. Naruto was truly amazing and teaching him was very fulfilling, but he also couldn't help but pity Lee, who could never master a technique so high in rank in only a day no matter how hard he practiced. The Junin jumped out of the tree he was in front, flipping right to Naruto and landing in a crouch. Naruto grinned at Guy, no words needed to be spoken. He stood and followed Guy back to the camp. It was still dark, but all four of the ninja assembled knew dawn was approaching. Shikamaru was lying on the grass next to Naruto, who was eating, while Neji stood calmly next to Guy, who for once seemed calm as well. Are you done, Naruto? Guy asked. Naruto slurped down the last of the ramen in his bowl. Yup, was the reply. The blonde-haired ninja picked up his backpack. Shikamaru struggled to his feet wearily. Naruto glanced at each one of them and met all of their eyes once. Ready. Neji grinned and nodded. Shikamaru shrugged. Guy gave him a thumbs up and then they were gone. It had only been a few minutes and the camp was already miles away, a tribute from the eagerness Neji, Naruto and Guy had for the fighting to come. Shikamaru knew it was up to him alone to prevent it. 4 hours later, Naruto stopped. The Sound Village was right in front of them, but already it seemed the task would be more than difficult. Shikamaru studied the face of his Junin leader. It was the first time he had seen Guy frustrated and confused. Usually the Junin would pretend he knew what he was doing even if he was confused. What do we do? Neji asked. We have to finish the mission. Guy's tone implied the danger they faced. Let's go. Guy sped in with the rest of the group, hard-pressed to keep up. The group darted over the rooftops, though noticed the Sound Ninja did not seem interested enough to stop them. Naruto looked confused as well as Neji, but Shikamaru seemed to know exactly what was happening. Why is no one attacking us? Naruto asked Guy. Guy's face betrayed no emotion or hints to the situation, instead he spoke calmly and clearly. Okay, listen, we have to receive the list directly from the cage because there is no sound daimyo. If I am correct, we will be ambushed directly by the cage himself. How do you know this and who is the cage? Naruto asked, more confused than before. It's only a guess, Naruto. The reason I say it is because I've seen some ninja up ahead racing to beat us to the tower. Also, we don't have any information on the otokage of the village hidden in the sound. Guy said. Naruto had more questions but bit his tongue. For a few moments the group experienced silence, with the only noise the heavy breathing of the genin and the wind whispering past Naruto's cape. Then Guy spoke. You can see the building from here. He pointed to a large building a quarter of a mile away. The group sped up and landed in front of the building within seconds. Guy paused before opening the front door. Tentatively his hand came to the handle and he opened the door. The interior of the building was the same as that of a dojo. It was plain with a wood floor and nothing else besides training weapons and scrolls which covered the walls. 10 ninjas stood in the back of the room. Behind them was a wall containing an innumerable amount of weapons. The Konoha ninjas waited. 5 minutes passed and still none of the sound ninjas spoke. Naruto clenched his fist, his head bent in frustration. Who the hell are you? What the hell is this? And most importantly, where is your goddamn otokage? Naruto's deafening scream immediately had all the ninjas awake. You punk, what gives you the right to scream in the otokage's tower? A young male roared back, his fist raised in front of him. Naruto, slightly calmer now that he knew there were other people there, began to wonder what to do. Hey buddy, the sound ninja said, trying to control his anger, what do you want? Guy put his hand in front of Naruto, who was about to say something. We have come to collect the list containing the names and number of groups who will be coming to the Chunin exam. Guy's face, still serious and concentrating, betrayed no worry or fear. The sound ninja grinned. Well, good, I'm done waiting then. Here in our village, to enter the otokage's tower you have to beat a guard. Today we have changed it so one of the genin with you will have to face me. My name is Zaku and I will be one of the genin who participates in the Chunin exam. Naruto smirked. I'll be your opponent then. I was getting bored, so you can entertain me. Neji shook his head. First I want to know how you knew there would be genin coming here. Another sound ninja opened his eyes. That does not matter, now I will ref the match. If you would please step behind this door where you can watch the fight through reinforced glass. The sound ninja waved the Konoha ninja through the door and following him all the ninjas who had been meditating. I don't know what to do if I tell them that this fighting is unnecessary. The sound ninjas might be offended since it's part of their culture, but if I don't stop the fight Naruto could get hurt. I don't know what kind of fight this will be like, but unless this ninja is more powerful than Naruto, I bet there will be cheating involved. Still, I have to try. Guy thoughts plagued his mind for another minute before he spoke. If you don't mind me asking, why do we need to fight? It seems that the whole point of the Chunin exams is to solve the fighting situation that this battle is about. His statement was frowned upon by the sound group that sat to the right of the group near the door. For a few seconds the group was silent until another young ninja spoke. Our otokage hates the weak, and those that are not worthy to enter his tower are deemed not worthy to live. The Konoha ninjas stiffly turned to watch the match, but each of them still suspicious of the sound ninjas. Meanwhile Naruto stood facing Zaku in the dojo waiting for the signal to begin. The two ninjas stood facing off, a fitful silence resting around them. Naruto shifted his position slightly, thinking of how it seemed that the match was taking too long to begin. Start. The referee's voice came down through the silence. Naruto quickly jumped back, waiting for his enemy to move. Zaku on the other hand charged the retreating Naruto. Haku planted his hands in front of him after coming within 10 feet of Naruto. Decapitating air wave, he said, firing pressurized air at Naruto, who blurred from sight. Zaku turned just in time to block a kick aimed for his head. Unfortunately, for him, he was not fast enough to dodge a punch which lodged itself in his gut. Zaku sneered at Naruto and fired another shot of condensed air which hit on. The clone disappeared with a poof, leaving Zaku rather scared. He turned only to be kicked in the face and sent back 20 feet, skidding to a halt only to have Naruto holding a kunai to his teeth. Surrender. Naruto says, "You're boring and not yet worthy of K." Zaku grabbed the arm that held the kunai and pushed it back as Naruto hesitated and fell back. Then Zaku, pinning Naruto to the ground, gathered air in his hands. "Time to Konoha trash." His voice trembling in anger as B rolled down his chin. Naruto grabbed Zaku's hands and pushed them back, causing Zaku to fall back. Naruto, now on top, pinned both of Zaku's arms down with one hand and began to bash his head in with the other. His punching went on for a minute before he stopped. He stood up, a calm expression on his face. The referee looked on, horrified at the bee-soaked ninja that stood before him. He paused for a second before he issued the commandment. "Give them the list." Naruto, icy blue eyes, looked to the window where Guy collected the scroll and proceeded to leave with Shikamaru and Neji following. Shikamaru had just left when a kunai shot from inside the door grazed his shoulder. Guy turned, his eyes widening. "Let's get out of here." He grabbed Shikamaru and propped him up, Neji and Naruto sprinting after them. The sound ninjas, who had also been watching the fight, began to follow him out the door of the tower. Naruto, who had been expecting them to all crowd the doorway, threw a kunai with an exploding tag attached right into the doorway as the first sound ninja began to step out. The explosion hit the first ninja in the sea, an instant K. The other sound ninjas had been sent back either by the force or dodging. Shikamaru groaned as he glanced back, seeing the sound ninja was still pursuing them. Neji turned and stopped on a building. "Guy-sensei, go on, Naruto, and I will take care of them." Guy nodded. "May the power of youth give you strength." Shikamaru sighed. "Naruto, take care of Neji. It would be troublesome if something happened to either of you." Naruto nodded, grinning sadistically. First gate of opening. Naruto waited impatiently, ready to fight, a kunai in each hand. Neji stood calmly, concentrating his chakra, preparing for a fight with the worst odds he had ever seen. 10 sound ninjas charged them, all respectable ninja. Finally, his excitement consuming him, he jumped toward the sound ninjas, flying off the edge of the building, colliding with one in mid-jump. His adrenaline began to flow and a powerful bee began to emerge, increasing the focus of his senses and his speed and strength. He thrust his arms forward, taking off the ninja's arms and then turning to kick a second in the back. Neji, meanwhile, was on the defensive, blocking attacks from 3 ninjas. Naruto stood on the ninja he had knocked out, trying to control himself. "I'm losing control, but why? It's not the end of the month." His thoughts were interrupted by another 2 sound ninjas, a male and a female, apparently genin, being around his age, standing in front of him. He glanced up from the alley he was in, trying to determine Neji's status. "You hurt our teammate pretty bad back there," said the male. "Now we're gonna make you pay for that." "Good luck," Naruto replied. "Great fireball jutsu." He quickly formed the 10-hand signs and blew the fire towards the 2. Naruto waited for the 2 to dodge before firing shuriken at them. Jumping into the air, he formed 10 shadow clones, and all of which fired kunai at the 2. The male managed to blow the weapons away with a sound jutsu. The girl was not so lucky and took 3 kunai in the leg. Naruto charged, immediately switching his attack and jumping into the air as the boy lifted his wrists up, which had some sort of weapon on them with holes. Naruto, seeing weapons wouldn't work, had his clones charge from all different angles. The boy quickly got rid of half of the clones with sound, but the 5 remaining clones were too close and he dodged a punch before getting hit and falling back to the ground. He looked at Naruto, who dropped in front of him, forming some hand seals. "Doton, earth projectiles," he said, the jutsu firing projectiles of earth towards the enemy sound ninja. The sound ninja lifted his arms to block the projectiles and fired a burst of air at the rock spears, but he was too late and he only managed to stop a K blow. The sound ninja coughed up some bee miserably. "Aren't you going to finish me off?" he asked. "Have you no pity?" Naruto shook his head, not turning around. "You'll live, don't complain. What'll go through is none of my concern," Naruto said. "See him off. Don't you want to live? Do protect those you love." "I don't love anyone," came the reply, which was "see off," as the boy fainted. Naruto ran and jumped onto the building to catch Neji, finishing off the last sound ninja. "Good job. It wasn't as tough as I thought it would be," Naruto began, only to see a large bee stain across Neji's side. Naruto shunshined across the building's roof to catch the Hyuga, who had started to fall fainting due to bee loss. Naruto sighed, and lay Neji down, knowing that he only had a few minutes before a special ops contingent would be sent over to eradicate them. He reached into his bag and took out some bandages, after he removed Neji's jacket and looked at the large gash, which he proceeded to wrap around the wound. When Naruto decided that the bandages were on correctly, he hoisted Neji onto his back and began to hurtle through the sky, ignoring the chaos that was going on underneath them, and after about 10 minutes he was out of the village. Naruto dropped to the ground in front of Guy and Shikamaru, who lifted Neji off Naruto's back and gently to the ground. The blonde shinobi grinned, mission accomplished. Guy grinned, a goofy expression on his face. Excellent job, my youthful students. We succeeded in getting the scroll and escaped with minor injuries. Shikamaru sighed, ignoring the Junan's wild antics. How was it alone behind enemy lines? Naruto shrugged, it was pretty cool, we kicked there, all of them were low Chunin and lower. He forced a smile before falling back onto the soft grass. His thoughts revisiting the point at the fight where his bee-lust had awoke, if only for a short period of time. He shook his head, getting the questions out of his head, and turned back to Shikamaru. Shikamaru nodded as if to affirm his suspicions. Well, let's make some lunch. It's midday, and though it's troublesome to go, if we don't hurry now we'll have to sprint for days to catch up to the others. Also, if we stay here too much longer we'll get K by Junin. What a drag. Naruto nodded back. I'll get some firewood. He turned to leave when Shikamaru grabbed his arm. Don't be foolish. We're only a mile away from the village, eat what you have raw. Naruto's face fell. Okay. The group ate in silence, both Guy and Shikamaru giving silent prayers that they were so lucky. Neji, still unconscious, and Naruto, preoccupied with his cold ramen. After a short 20 minutes the group got ready to go. They got rid of their trail. Guy hoisted Neji onto his back and led the way to the next village. The village hidden in the rain. Naruto was the first to spot the other half of the group. Kurenai had led the girls and Lee at a slow pace, allowing for Guy's special team to catch up. Neji was still resting on Guy's back and Shikamaru followed in the rear, weary of keeping alert. Jumping off the branch he was on, Naruto flew 50 feet into the air and landed silently next to Hinata and Lee. Naruto smiled at the group, giving his two friends a thumbs up, while Tenten had already gone off to see what was wrong with Neji. Naruto, how was the mission? I expect you carried it out well enough with your youthful demeanor leading the honorable mission. Of course. Naruto said, his smile already having faded and been replaced with a frown. But unfortunately we were attacked and Neji was injured. You're alright though, aren't you, Naruto? Hinata asked, still blushing from Naruto's entrance. Yes, I'm fine. Shikamaru was slightly injured but me and Guy got off without problem. Kurenai looked at the back of Naruto's head with slight annoyance that he wasn't reporting to her before interrogating the blonde. How badly is Neji injured? Not badly, he lost some B, but other than that he should be fine. Guy hurried into the group with Neji bouncing every which way on his back and Tenten looking horrified. Yes, Neji is alright, if he keeps resting he should be able to journey on tomorrow. Guy kneeled and gently laid Neji to the ground, removing his B bandages for the group to see. To his word, Naruto was right and Neji was not terribly injured, but moving by the next day was certainly out of the question. Kurenai looked from Hinata to Neji, knowing that Hinata wanted to treat Neji and also knowing that Hinata wanted her to intervene and bring Neji into a tent to operate, so she complied. Naruto, please set up the tents. Tenten, you can help him. In the meantime Hinata and I will tend to Neji. Tenten's face fell but she nodded and began to pitch the tent while Naruto struggled to do the same. After they were finished, Naruto went into the woods to relieve himself. Naruto had just finished when he saw Tsutomi in the tree above him. The blonde fell back at a loss for words. When did you get here? Naruto, it's time for us to go. Tsutomi's thick voice called out from high up in the tree. What do you mean? Naruto asked, buttoning his pants. Naruto, you and I are going to the village hidden in the sand. While we're there we'll collect the roster of ninja who will be participating in the Chunin exam from the daimyo, but we also have some business to take care of. What sort of business do you mean? Tsutomi looked at him for a moment before stepping closer. You and I are going to investigate a mystery, but let's go, I'll explain later. Right now you need to tell Guy or Kurenai we're going. Naruto looked at Tsutomi for another second before turning and heading back to the camp. Quickly the blonde located Kurenai. Sensei, I'm going to go on a mission with Tsutomi in Wind Country. While we're there we'll pick up the ninja roster, so we'll meet you back in Konoha. She looked at him, not blinking, and waited. What? Naruto sighed and explained the situation again. This time Kurenai nodded. That will actually save us some time and put us back on schedule. Alright Naruto, I'll see you in 3 weeks. Naruto grinned at her. Sooner I'll bet. Then in a blur he was off. Naruto and Tsutomu left the woods and started off, heading to the village hidden in the wind. It had only been an hour but already something was bothering Naruto. Tsutomu noticed his frustration and commented, "What's the matter Naruto?" Naruto sighed and shook his head. "I don't know, well I do but." Naruto paused thinking of how to phrase the question. Tsutomu looked at the blonde. "You know Naruto, there is one thing that will always make you feel better." Naruto blinked, looked at the tough outer shell of the captain. "Whenever you feel down, you can always train. Training makes you feel better and will never let you down." A calm began to flow through Naruto. "I was going to ask if you know how to use a sword. I've been thinking about learning to use one." "Why? Swords are a complicated thing and a hassle. They do have their advantages though." Naruto looked down. "Well, I happen to have one. I got a few weeks ago in a battle with the demon of the mist." Tsutomu stopped running. "You took his sword." Naruto stopped as well. "Yeah, as a memento from the battle." Tsutomu shook his head. "You know Naruto, they say every sword carries part of the soul of its owner, and when the owner's part of his soul is left in the blade." Naruto looked at the scroll in his outstretched hand which held the mist demon's sword. "You better not tell many people you have that or you'll be a wanted man. A blade like his is sure to be worth a couple thousand ryo." Naruto's eyes pulled themselves from the scroll. "Anyway, what's this mission?" Tsutomu nodded. "The mission is fairly simple. We're supposed to check up on Gaara, the son of the Kazekage, a tenant for the one-tailed demon Shukaku." Naruto grimaced. "Another one like me. I wonder what he'll be like. Not like MIA, I hope. Not full of pain, not hated." His thoughts drifted off as he began to run to catch up to Tsutomu, who had sprinted off ahead. Several hours later, the two ninjas reached the wind country and Tsutomu was in a bad mood. "I hate the desert," he grumbled, trudging through the sandy dunes and covering his face with his arm from the wind which was hurtling sand at them. Naruto was faring better with his cape and hood blocking most of the sound, and though it was hot it was not terrible and it was beginning to cool. In the faint distance they could see the walls of the village. Struggling onward, the two made their way to the gate. As they reached the entrance, two shinobi walked up to them. "You're ninjas from the village hidden in the leaves and the village hidden in the clouds?" The sand shinobi asked, looking at Naruto's headband which had both village symbols on it. Tsutomu shook his head. "I'm not a ninja, I'm his father, and yes he is," he said, nodding to Naruto. The sand ninja nodded and marked something down in the notebook he held at sea level. "Well, go ahead." Naruto and Tsutomu continued through the tunnel, and all the while Tsutomu explained the mission using chakra chains. "Naruto, we have to find Gaara and get the ninja roster, so you get the roster and I'll look for Gaara, then we'll meet up." "Alright, I'll meet you in front of the Kazekage's tower in 2 hours. If you find him earlier, contact me." Tsutomu grinned. "You're starting to be able to read me." "Huh." Naruto grinned back and sped off, shunshunning to the center of the village. The blonde had not gone a mile when a scent caught him unaware. He had planned to hurry and get to the building as quickly as he could, but he had to face reality. He was hungry. He quickly ducked into a restaurant where a particularly delicious smell was coming from. The interior was small and packed tight with customers, yet there was still one booth left in the corner. Naruto walked over to the booth and sat down with his back to the door he had just come in. He was just short enough so that if you entered the restaurant you couldn't see his head over the back of the booth seat. The blonde pulled down the hood which he had kept on even after he entered the village. Sitting down, he pulled the menu toward him which lay on the stone table. Meanwhile, a girl had just got out of training and she was hungry. She opened the door to her favorite restaurant and headed in to see most of the table taken. Her eyes screened the table for an empty booth and found one. She walked over to the corner and flung herself into the seat facing the door. She liked to see who was coming in. Naruto looked up at the girl who sat across from him. "Hello," he said, looking at the gigantic fan which she had let down beside her. She looked at him and blushed. I'm sorry, I didn't know anyone was sitting here. It's fine, Naruto stated, his eyes going back to the menu trying to decide what to order. Temari waited for him to say something else, but he did not. Excuse me, my name is Uzumaki. Naruto, what's yours? Temari, the girl replied. Would you mind if I sat here? Naruto shook his head. Go right ahead. She smiled at him and then noticed his odd headband. What type of ninja are you? You come from 2 villages. Naruto laughed. I'm a good one, I hope, and yes, I come from 2 villages and undertake missions for both of them. Temari went on, curious to the way his role worked. Are you some sort of tool for the villages to maintain peace? Naruto laughed again. I'm going to become a Kage, or at least one in strength, but I guess eventually I will have to choose one village to belong to. He paused before rubbing the back of his head. Would you mind recommending something? I'm not really used to this type of food. Temari laughed. Sure thing, what is your favorite type of food? Naruto did not need to think. Ramen, finally an easy question. Temari looked at the menu. You should try the udon of sand. It has a weird name, but that only is because all the ingredients besides the noodle can only be found in Wind Country. Thanks, Naruto said, putting down his menu. Naruto lifted his menu up again and handed it to the waiter who had walked over. The two ordered and abandoned talk for their food. Both finished quickly, looking pleased at their choices. Naruto stood up, leaving enough money for both of their meals, and turned to go, giving Temari a wave. He's leaving. Already. Temari ran outside after him and grabbed his shoulder, which surprised her, being packed with muscle. Naruto turned and waited for Temari to say something. Where are you going, Naruto? Naruto looked at her, debating if he should tell her. I'm going to get the ninja roster for the Chunin exams. Well, if you will let me take you to the building, I'm going there anyway. Naruto nodded and the two took off, heading to the building. Then it hit Naruto that he hadn't asked Temari why she was going there. So he asked her, Temari, why are you going to the Kazekige's building? Temari sighed. Well, my father asked to see me. Naruto paused and started to worry. Who is your father? The Kazekige, she replied, feeling silly that she had been so confusing. That means her brother is Gaara. I could ask about him, but she might worry that I meant him harm. He sighed. She didn't need to know. The rest of the trip was carried out in silence. The two arrived and Naruto followed Temari so he was allowed to pass the guards without inspection. Temari knocked on the door. Father, you wanted me. The Kazekige's voice rang out with shrill hastiness. Come in. Temari walked in and ushered Naruto in behind her. The Kazekige paused in his work and looked up at Naruto, who stood rigid and attentive. The Kazekige's piercing gaze worked its way up Naruto, stopping for a moment on his headband before returning to meet the blue eyes' gaze. You must be Uzumaki, Naruto. The Kazekige said. His tone expressed how interested the Kazekige was. Naruto nodded, glancing at Temari and then his eyes returning to the Kazekige, who met his with a look of contempt, misunderstanding. So Naruto, you're here for the list of ninjas who are participating in the exam, are you not? Naruto nodded again. I am. The Kazekige sat down and rummaged through the drawers until he found what he was looking for. He tossed Naruto the scroll and Naruto caught it. Then Naruto bowed and left. Smirking, the Kazekige shook his head. The Kyuubi child is different than I imagined. Naruto pushed the door open harshly and it flew open, where it was about to hit a boy around Naruto's own age, before it was stopped by sand. Naruto looked at the boy in awe. Are you all right? He asked, his voice filled with concern and embarrassment. The red-haired boy looked at him fiercely. Then out of nowhere a tendril of sand shot towards Naruto. Naruto easily pulled a kunai from his belt and see the sand that flew towards him. What the hell? Naruto said. Get out of my way, weakling. The boy demanded. Naruto looked at him suspiciously, hoping he was wrong. Are you Gaara? Gaara looked at him intently. I am. Naruto extended his hand. Well then, forgive my rudeness, I'm Naruto. Gaara looked taken aback and did not move to take the hand. By now Temari was behind Naruto and a look of panic and fear was beginning to embed itself on her face. Naruto, perhaps you should leave. Temari's tone hinted for him to leave. Naruto shook his head. I haven't gotten a chance to talk to your brother yet. Gaara did not take the hand. Instead he sent sand to push Naruto out of the way. Naruto in return blocked the sand sea it apart with the kunai which he still held in his right hand. Naruto, I would very much like to K you now. Gaara held nothing back. Sand from the jug on his back began to seep out. Temari grabbed Naruto's arm and pulled him back. Naruto, she whispered into his ear. If you want to live, run. Naruto gently pushed Temari off him. Gaara, if you want to fight, I'll fight you, but let's go to a more desolate area. Gaara almost smiled, yes. The two ninjas left the main part of the village and found an uninhabited part with plenty of space to battle. Behind them lurked Temari, who did not want to get caught in the midst of the fight. Gaara attacked before they had agreed to the terms, catching Naruto unaware and sending him to the ground. Desert coffin. Gaara said, sending sand to encompass Naruto. Naruto jumped back, dodging the attack, and took a second to analyze Gaara's abilities. Then he created a handful of shadow clones to surround Gaara, making sure if he attacked he would have to focus on defense rather than offense. Then Naruto initiated his plan, suit and water bullet technique. He opened his mouth and fired a shot of water at Gaara, which the sand rose to block. Naruto grinned, looking at the wet sand. That's going to be heavy. Gaara's tough and hardened eyes looked at Naruto and fired a few sand shuriken at him and his clones, all of which were dodged easily. Then one of the clones ran at Gaara, and as soon as it got within a few feet exploded, destroying much of the chakra-imbued sand Gaara had. Gaara frowned and called upon dry sand from the ground to attack Naruto. Naruto dodged and rushed forward, launching a combination of punches and kicks at Gaara, who blocked with his sand. Gaara, now very frustrated, attacked with a large amount of sand and ended up pinning Naruto the ground. As Gaara got ready to finish the trapped blonde, the clones began forming hand seals. Kaiten, fiery blast. Gaara immediately called the sand back to defend against the attack, but it was too late and he was hit by the flames. Naruto grinned, I win. He pushed himself up, but to his amazement Gaara got up as well and his skin began to crack and break apart. The skin wasn't really skin, Naruto realized, but sand. Gaara felt tired and angry. How am I losing? And who is he? Naruto's clones all charged and Gaara had no chance. Quickly he was knocked to the ground, and when he collapsed, Naruto dispersed his clones and walked over to the defeated boy and offered again his hand. Gaara looked at it tentatively, but this time he took it. From the side Temari looked on in amazement, tears streaming down her face. This blonde boy was certainly a godsend. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.